What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Arrow Season 5, Episode 5, Human Target. So, as the title of the episode says, we meet a character named Human Target in this one, and ultimately, this episode was better than I was expecting, because based on the previews I saw last week, I pretty much knew everything that was going to happen up to a certain point. They had Wild Dog saying, "Oh, he knows you're Oliver Queen." They had what's his face, Church. They had him telling his guy, "You don't need to kill the Arrow. You need to kill Oliver Queen or the mayor." And then they had Oliver getting shot. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I know it's going to happen. So how is Oliver not going to die? Well, as it turns out, there's a guy. His name is Christopher Chance, and he's called the Human Target. And I looked it up. Apparently, he's a real character that I have no idea about. And he assumes the identities of targets of assassinations. And somehow survived getting shot up. I don't really know how. It was never addressed. And he may be coming back later, possibly. If he is, I hope so, because I want to know why he didn't die from getting shot up severely. Like whenever he was getting shot, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so please tell me they're not going to be like, oh, Oliver survived, luckily, because all of those bullets passed through without hitting a single artery or anything like that. I'm like, there's no way. He's got to be dead, but he's not dead. So how are we going to get out of this? And all of a sudden, in walks the fake Oliver Queen, takes off the mask, and oh, okay, how did you not die? What happened there? Please explain to me what just happened. So that is honestly, I'm really enjoyed this episode. Like, I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. There was some good action scenes. The story was actually not as stupid as it has been. So a lot to enjoy about it. But that one thing throws me off. Why did he survive that? And I even looked up his character to be like, okay, is he just impervious to bullets? Does he heal rapidly? Why does he survive? I didn't see anything about that. It just said he was a guy who assumes the identity of a assassination target, and that's all I got. I didn't see anything about him being able to survive bullets. So I don't know what happened. They neglect to explain it. I guess I'm just supposed to assume that he's able to survive bullets. I don't know why. But that is the only problem I have with this episode. Well, the other problem I have is minor in comparison. Felicity's still lying about seeing the new guy that she's seeing. She lies to Oliver about it. She lies to Curtis about it. She lies to her boyfriend that she told Oliver about them. I don't understand. I don't understand why she thinks lying is okay. Because lying is the one thing that she hates more than anything else, and for some reason, if she's the one doing it, oh, well, that's okay then. So it's just very hypocritical, in my opinion, and luckily they finally cut that storyline because apparently, in a scene we didn't even get to see, her boyfriend told Chance as Oliver about him and Felicity. So Chance tells Oliver later on about what happened between them. So Oliver finally tells Felicity, "Look, I found out about the guy you're seeing. Why didn't you tell me?" And they have a little talk about it. And she's just like, "Well, I don't know if it's real." And I'm just like, "God, this is annoying. Why are we spending time on this? Can we move on, please?" But it was such a minor thing in this episode that I'm not even really going to count it as an issue because the rest of it was actually really good. First of all, the fact that even though we saw all of this in the previews, the fact that I was still kind of surprised at where it was going. You know, I knew Oliver was going to get shot up. I knew he was going to survive getting shot up. It was just a matter of how. So bringing in this new character who is able to survive getting shot by bullets however he can, it's kind of interesting to see. And on top of that, they do manage to kind of connect it because John knows him, I guess, by working with him. And then on top of that, we see in one of the flashbacks near the end that apparently Anatoly hired him at one point to save Oliver's life because I guess I don't know who the guy that they're talking about is. His name's Victor. I guess he either works for Constantine or he's just somebody who doesn't trust Oliver and wants to kill him for some reason. I don't know. They didn't really explain that very well. They just said that he has a lot of powerful connections, so it's not going to be easy to take him on. So I like the connection there, and on top of that, there's also the connection that whoever the what's her face Williams lady, the reporter, she apparently has some connections to somebody in, I don't know, CIA maybe, but she's talking to him at the end, and apparently he uses some of his connections to find a picture of Oliver working with the Bratva when he was supposed to still be on the island. So there was a little conversation that Oliver had, well, Chance as Oliver had with her, that kind of made me think, oh, maybe that's going to change a little bit, but then after this, I'm just like, oh, never mind, she's still going to hate him. But yeah, I mean, a lot of, I guess, the story in general in this one, and even like some of the conversations that they were having, were just a lot better in this episode. I mean, even Oliver and Diggle are talking about the new team, and Diggle is just pretty much saying exactly how I've been feeling this entire season. This isn't the new team that I pictured. You got a Laurel wannabe, you got a wild man. He makes fun of the Ragman, but I love Ragman. He's freaking awesome. And he said, and then Curtis. I just didn't picture Curtis as the new team. I'm just like, thank you. Nobody's been saying this. Nobody's been saying exactly what Diggle's saying right now, which is, this is not a good team. And Oliver's just like, oh, they have potential. I'm like, shut up, Oliver. You don't know anything. But yeah, so that conversation was good. There was a conversation that Chance, as Oliver, was having with Thea about seeing the reporter lady. And she's just like, but how, she's poison. And at first I was thinking, really, are you this naive? You think you're just going to be able to win her over by talking to her? But then he has this one line that he throws out. He's just like, apparently you can build up an immunity to poison by taking a little bit every now and then. I'm just like, that actually kind of works. Not really trying to win her over completely right now, but a little bit of it at a time. Just kind of trying it out, getting a little bit of information, getting a little bit of information from her. Really just kind of working her over slowly but surely. It actually makes sense, and it's a line that I think really describes how that relationship is going to go. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoy the fact that they're not just focusing on Green Arrow right now. And that doesn't really make sense because I think I may have said in a previous episode that I wasn't going to enjoy the Oliver as mayor thing. They've actually done a good job of showing a bit of both. And it's not just, oh, Oliver as mayor has this to do, and who really cares because we just want to get back to the action. No, this is actually something that is really tying in with how Oliver's character is developing into less of a, I'm just going to shoot everybody with an arrow, and more of a, I'm actually trying to help the city. And so he's trying to pass this bill that's going to help the city ultimately, but there's this one guy that won't budge on his opinion. So Oliver has to find a way around it and ultimately pass the bill to try to help the city, not as a Green Arrow, but as mayor. So I like that little turn in the tale because we've seen all about, even in the what's it called, the opening little segment where he's talking about, I was stranded on an island for 5 years, and they do that whole thing. He even says, I'm trying to save the city, not just as Green Arrow, but also as mayor. And we haven't really seen much of that recently in this season. We've just seen, oh, he's mayor, and he's kind of dealing with this, and people are wondering where he is, and then he's Green Arrow, and now he's saving the city as Green Arrow. We haven't seen him try to save it as mayor. So we're finally getting to see that. We're finally getting to see not only just that, but also a good balance of that and being Green Arrow. So it's really working together well in this episode, and in my opinion, it's the best of the season so far. Even though we still have some dumb moments, you just look at the end, the final fight scene, they're handling it very well, because they're showing that even though this team is not what it should be, we can still see moments of like glimmers of we understand that the team isn't where it should be. Because honestly, that's one of my biggest frustrations so far is that the team really sucks. And so I don't want to see them taking on bad guys and succeeding because honestly they're not there yet. And so we see, who was it? It was Curtis and Evelyn, and they were fighting the guy that shot Chance as Oliver, and he actually he beats him up, he takes him down, and then Chance has to step in with a fake mask on as one of the henchmen and comes in and shoots the guy. So it's just kind of see, they don't win. They're not good enough yet to beat that guy, because that guy, whoever he is, was really good. So they shouldn't be beating him yet, and sure enough, they don't beat him. And then they go to Wild Dog is going to take on what's his face Church in a fight, and I'm just like, okay, you lost the first one, you should be losing this one. And he does hold his own, but ultimately Church is still handing out a bit of a beating on him, and so that makes sense. And then Church finally escapes, makes it into the warehouse where Oliver's waiting for him. I'm just like, okay, so the last time they fought, Church actually had him near death, but Oliver claims that the only reason that was he wanted to see if Ragman would save him, and so he let himself be nearly killed to see if Ragman would step up and save his life. So in this one, I should not see Church really doing much at all, and I didn't. The entire fight was mainly Oliver just taking it to him. Church had one good hit on him, but then after that, Oliver picked up an arrow, knocked off his brass knuckles, and then just took him out. Just completely no more hits from Church. And I love that, because Oliver was able to beat Damien Dark, he was able to beat Ra's al Ghul. This is Tobias Church. Who is Tobias Church? That's the one thing that just kept playing in my mind. The only thought going in my mind was if he actually almost loses this fight, I'm going to be pissed, because he should not almost be losing this fight. So I love the fact that it ended that way, and then all of a sudden at the very end we get even more intensity in that Church is being taken to Iron Heights, and he's freaking out, understandably, and all of a sudden the car in front explodes, and the convoy stops, and all of a sudden we hear a bunch of noise and screaming going on outside. The cop inside opens the door, stupidly, gets killed, and then Church tells Prometheus that Green Arrow is Oliver Queen, and then gets killed with a ninja star. And then camera pans away as we see just 20 dead bodies. Just I don't know who this guy is, but he is really, really good at what he does. So I'm just excited to see where this is going. This seems like he's going to be the main bad guy, which, thank goodness, because Tobias Church is just not strong enough as a villain, in my opinion. But it also kind of begs the question, where did this guy come from? What is he doing? Why does he look so much like Ragman? Does this mean that possibly there's a connection there? It's really interesting to think about. But like I said, this episode was so much better. It felt much more, I guess, it knew more what it wanted to do. It wasn't as oh, I don't know what to do with this character. Stupid writing here and there. So just all around a better episode. Looking forward to next week, see where it's going. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What you like and dislike about this episode. Let me know, we can talk about, discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Arrow reviews. I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.